So the eve of the election is here, and many citizens are flocking to Home Affairs offices in many places, including here in Johannesburg, for their last-minute opportunity to get a temporary ID so that they can vote tomorrow. So Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Makhoali is at one of these centres and joins us live from outside Home Affairs offices here in the Johannesburg CBD. Okay, so what's happening there? I mean, again, are we seeing a number of people rushing to get their sort of documents in order? And what are officials saying about being able to issue them and having the capacity to issue them with those temporary ID documents?
Well, certainly, Iman, residents have waited quite literally until the 11th hour to secure temporary IDs as well as to collect their documents. What we do know from the Home Affairs here in the Johannesburg CBD is that it's been experiencing a couple of issues and delays. Firstly, the influx of those who have come to get their temporary IDs has really caused some glitches in the other services provided here at the Home Affairs Department. While we've also been hearing from residents here on the ground that the centre here, the office here at Home Affairs, has also had delays in regards to the system being offline, issues of printers, having to see residents coming back at least 4 times this week. But if you can just take a look at this line, since the morning that we've been here, this line has grown, and not just the line, but also tensions here from the residents that have been queuing up, waiting for services. Iman, I can walk you through this line and just some of the people that we've been speaking to saying that they first came on Thursday. There was an issue with the system being offline. They then returned once again, being told that there was an issue now with the printer, and it seems that that is again the issue and the delay here. In fact, Iman, there are 2 separate lines. One's for temporary ID, and the one that you are looking at is for those residents hoping to secure those temporary IDs, and another one for ID collection. There is also some sort of an anxiety among residents here whether or not they will be able to get their IDs in time to cast their votes. But let's speak to just some of the residents now in regards to, just the waiting and the services here. Abuti, thank you for your time. You're speaking to Newzroom Afrika, you're live on air. Just a sense of how the services have been going here today and what you've come here for.
Well, it's my first time here, obviously, and to be honest, people are a bit irritated. It's been a while. We asked them, they're saying the system is catching and leaving. There's a few old people here. It's actually quite an irritation, to be honest with you.
And I see that you are in the line for temporary IDs. You've waited quite, late. I'm assuming it's obviously to vote. Why have you come here to collect your temporary ID?
Oh, well, it is actually for the voting process tomorrow. Hopefully I get it sorted by today and then, try to make my mark on the whole voting process, obviously.
You are one of the people that I've seen here since the morning that have been queuing. How long has it been? And perhaps, I've seen a few of the guys leaving out of frustration as well. Well,
obviously, because of how they're running, I don't think it's quite effective how they're running the system here. But we'll stay. We've been here for about two or so hours. And it's just... I'm also even now contemplating trying to leave because, the service isn't as great as I think it should be, if that makes sense. Yeah.
We know that Home Affairs as well has extended, thank you for your time. We know that Home Affairs, of course, has extended the hours here, saying that there will be, of course, they will be opening up until 7 p.m. and tomorrow up until 9 a.m. But we're seeing that just some of the residents are really just taking time out of their day, going out from work, leaving the responsibilities that they have just to get a chance to cast their ballot. And you can just see just from the queues here that there are 2 separate queues, one for temporary IDs and another for ID collection. But we're still going to keep talking to just some of the residents about the frustrations and waiting here. The officials that we did get a chance to speak to said this has been something that has been, causing delay, the influx of those temporary IDs. But residents have really said Home Affairs Department does know of the fact that they do need to be prepared for this kind of influx. Of course, it's a special time. It is election season. And we're going to speak to just another resident and really just to get a sense, you are almost there. You are right at the line, almost towards the door. How long have you been here? And just tell us a little bit about the services.
Good morning. It's still morning, yes. I've been here since, I think, 7 a.m. Lots of us have been here in the line. Initially, we thought the lines were moving quite fast, and then later we found out that the printer is not working. So they said initially, when we asked about it, they said Home Affairs closes at 7, which we felt was a very arrogant statement, which is an indictment of where we are as a country. It shows that you can't announce something that you don't have the capacity to carry out. It's when it comes to South Africans, national elections are very important, knowing the history of this country. So you'd expect that a government institution like Home Affairs would take that with the utmost importance, but seemingly we are here and we have no headway on what's going on. Hopefully the printers are working and we can get our temporary IDs so we can vote tomorrow, because these are very important elections for South Africans. I think the current situation we are in is showing us why we need a change in the country, because seemingly nothing works, and then the problem is not that nothing works, is that no one seems to care, and we've made it okay that things don't work, services aren't being done, and it's okay. So I think it's an indictment of where we are as a country, and we need to do better. So hopefully everybody who's watching at home, get up, go vote, make a statement.
And we just spoke to a young gentleman just in the queue as well. He's really speaking about the fact that he might actually even leave the line and not get a chance to get his opportunity to vote tomorrow, just out of the frustration here. What would you say to those that are standing in queue with you, who are just feeling the tension of the day?
Like you said, he's a young man. I'm also a young man. I don't think any of us should leave. I think if they say they're closing at 7, we should be here until 7. I think people who came before us in 94 stood in much longer lines just to go vote. The struggle was much more worse. You can't tell me you're too lazy to stand a few more hours in line to get your temporary ID so that you can go vote tomorrow. I think as a youth who always complain that youth unemployment is skyrocketing, it's at 40%, it keeps going up, there isn't solutions, and you're telling me you can't stand in line for a few more hours. No, all of us, everyone else behind me, we've had the conversation. We will be here until 7, and if we don't get it today, we'll come back tomorrow morning to make sure that we do vote, because we think it's very important that everyone does vote.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Really just hearing, apart from just the frustration, but the tenacity from some of the residents here who are adamant to cast their vote. We're going to now cross over, as we're saying, that this is the line for temporary IDs, but there are also those who are queuing now for collection of IDs. And this line as well has been somewhat curving throughout the Home Affairs Department here. In fact, going into the alleyway of this office building, and some of the people who are here are among the elderly, and we're just going to give you just a view of just how long that queue is, of a mix of course, ID collection, ID as well as passport collection, but really what we're getting from this queue is that a lot of the people who are here are part of the elderly, and they've really also just voiced their frustration about having to wait in these long queues and in these long lines. But we'll be giving you a little bit more on that. So let's just try and see if we can just speak to some of the elderly residents over here. We're just going to step forward and speak to a gentleman over here. Dumelang Tate, how are you? How are you, sir? You're live on Newzroom Africa. I just want to talk to you about just waiting in this line, and of course I'm assuming you're here to collect your ID. You're not part of that. You don't want to talk about it. Yeah?
Don't want to talk about it. I'm tired already. I don't want to talk. I'm tired already.
And how long have you been here? How long have you been waiting here?
Close to an hour. It's close to an hour, so I'm tired already.
And are you here to collect your ID?
Yeah, it's a collection.
Do you have any anxiety of how soon you'll be able to get it and if you'll be able to vote tomorrow?
Sorry?
Do you have any anxiety about how soon you'll be able to get that ID?
Yes.
Tell me a bit more.
Because I want to wake up in the morning and go vote tomorrow, but now they're still taking their own time. I had people saying that they actually want to take, and what's this? Overtime. Because they want to get paid. So that's why they're leaving us outside, because they want to get paid, and they don't care about us. Sorry. So I'm worried about it as well.
Well, there you have it, just some of the conversations from those people here waiting on the ground. Home Affairs, of course, is really trying to extend those operating hours to make sure that every South African has an opportunity to cast their vote tomorrow with their ID in hand, be it their smart card, the green book, as well as the temporary ID. But we'll be continuing to monitor different Home Affairs departments, not just here in the Johannesburg CBD, but really to see how services are rolling out and if people are able to walk out with those necessary documents. Back to you.
Veronica, again, you can almost feel the frustration. It's palpable even through our crossing. You know, one of the enduring questions I have is what type of printer, what brand of printer is Home Affairs using? Because I hear this so often, and it doesn't matter which, which branch you go to. There's always some issue, not always, but a lot of times you hear people talk about, oh, the printers are offline or something's offline or they're not working. Well, I suppose we will try during the course of our broadcast, if not on this show, throughout the course of the day to try and get some responses from Home Affairs about laying on that extra human resource to ensure that those who are applying for their temporary IDs or therefore their ID collection manage to do so that they can go ahead and vote tomorrow if they were planning to do so. So Veronica Makhoali there for us from the Home Affairs offices in the Johannesburg CBD.